Peasant Productions presents The Math of ESP, why it works, even if you don't believe in it. Yes, that title is so old I can stumble over it now. It was first decided in 1981, so yeah, it's an old title. Couple things. Oh, one thing right off the bat. If any of you see me with a little piece of cloth around here, all it is some gauze that I use to hold slices of ginger on my neck. The long hours, the damage done to me by the United States government, and because it was directly related to following the advice of the United States Supreme Court, it was done on purpose. Therefore, the United States Supreme Court et al. Is charged with felony terrorism, felony torture, felony war crimes, felony child abuse, felony domestic violence. Everything was below that, where they told me to, go stick it up my butt and go back and ask the corrupt court's permission to take my case further. Yes. They have no legal right to say otherwise. And remember, as the criminal, the United States government cannot in any way dictate what courtroom I use. Okay? It is my choice 100%. Therefore, the United States Supreme Court cannot try its own case. It cannot do anything but enter into the courtroom I decide and present any evidence that they have that says they had the legal right to tell me, complaining about an entire court system and a couple of judges and a whole lot more telling me to stuff it, that I was a father who wanted to produce not only evidence of, in a courtroom, of child abuse, but also denied me any right to try and protect my son against that child abuse, to the point where they refused the federal law that says if you know what a crime is, and you know what child abuse is, and you know what domestic violence is, you must within 72 hours do something to stop it, mitigate a solution. If you do not do that, you are a terrorist. You are a threatening person. You are an illegal acting person because you have just authorized criminal action against somebody. Okay? So the United States court system et al. Must appear in a courtroom of my choice. They do not have any legal right to say otherwise. Anyway, such is life and all kinds of fun. But yes, I'm in pain when it gets bad. I put ginger on my neck. It makes things better. And unlike those doctors of drugs, the ginger doesn't do anything to me mentally. So I'm not. Most people on painkillers end up being drug addicts. Yes. Anyway, we were discussing in the previous one about the idea of the free ride and how it is so put forward in your life that yes, you literally, in America, the country that we split apart from, England, well actually Europe, but England, has a king and queen. And the mass populace of the United States goes absolutely goo-goo over anything those royal people do. Now, the fact that the royal people do not, royal families do not in any way produce anything of any kind of sellable product other than tourism to the rest of the world, to their own country, to their own governments, okay? They are literally, nothing more than, what I've got here, a display item. Ooh, look at our pretty princess. Ooh, look at our handsome prince. Oh, isn't our king or queen wonderful? Yeah, they're nothing more, okay? But needless to say, everybody goes Google over it. Why? Because from being little kids on up, you are taught to think about being the knight in shining armor and saving that maiden in distress. If you're a man, if you're a little boy, you're going to be gallant and do the gentleman thing and take care of. Yeah, and think of how many different stories you're told as a man, as a little boy, to be this particular item. Yeah, you want to be. Yes. The same thing with the girls. Every little girl is daddy's princess. And I don't know how many spoiled, rotten women I've dealt with in my life who literally run around bragging about their daddy's little princess and everybody has to bow down to them. They may not say it in those words, but they show it in all of their actions, in all of their social contacts, in all of their ways of doing anything. And by far, one of the biggest things, like I pointed out, that women run around claiming that giving birth is the most painful pain you will ever go through. There's nothing at all equal to it. And thereby slapping in the face every person who, like me, has just an injury that is now 14 years old. I don't know of any woman who's ever been in labor for 14 years. It doesn't happen. It might happen in things like Fox News and rumor mills and conspiracy theories, but reality, no woman has ever been in labor for 14 years. And every person that has ever had cancer, man, woman, child, that has ever had cancer, they are in some kind of predicament, they are in some kind of pain because of those wild cells in their body. So women slap that. Well, what's the easiest way for a woman to get out of work, get a sick day? Walk in and say, oh, it's my time of the month and I'm having cramps and I have to go away. I don't know how many places I've been a manager of, and listen to a woman say that, watch her walk out, I can see her energy, it's grist, she's telling a lie. And later that afternoon, there's probably been at least a dozen women without issue that I have walked out later that afternoon and found her out partying with her friends. In a couple of cases, I've shown up someplace and, they're having a birthday party. And that girl was one of the party enjoying it all. So yeah, she had cramps and had to go home. Women get out of work very easy by claiming that kind of stuff. Women will fall over themselves about the fact of having migraines. But men who suffer migraines, most women will thumb you. Oh, you're nothing. We women do that all the time. Right. We don't go walking around complaining about stuff. We just simply deal with life. I've had migraines literally now. I'm 60 years old. I've had migraines literally for 49 years. Almost 50 years. I was about 10, 11 years old when they first came on. So yeah, don't ever tell me I don't know what pain is. Other things to stop and think about in this same perspective now is that you've got the obvious stuff of going on in the advertising, all this push for the social, being socially accepted everywhere. Get a job, be there, do all this stuff, and it's so programmed in that they literally use the same thing. Like I was saying in the previous video, you retire, you get this gold watch, or you get this money, or this fund, or whatever, okay? What happens to most retirement people? They go live in a retirement community. Yeah, a few, set themselves up there on the higher end of the wealth and stuff, and they've got more private situations. But even though they want to be somewhere where other retired people are at, so that they can all be buddying and partying and being happy. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but stop and think about the tens of thousands that are living in Florida because they all ran there for the retirement community. And one of the things I've found in a lot of places is you go visit and walk and talk amongst these people, and they have all kinds of issues and problems all around them, and it's not really all that great. They'd really rather they were someplace else, but it's too late to move. And yet they tell all their friends that they're having a really wonderful time. So down in Florida, which gets hit by hurricanes, has now got wildflowers, has got all kinds of deadly algae, it's an extreme tourist trap. All these people went there to retire thinking it was the most wonderful place to be. And a lot of them are now in the wrong place to be for the situations they're now facing. And more importantly, and this is going to fall back on the women issue again. There's a lot of I don't want to call them pro-life people because they're not pro-life. They are pro-birth. Okay, running around saying that they don't want their money being spent on abortions because they don't support murder. Those same Republicans, however, do support. The military going and blowing the snot out of countries just because those countries happen to be in the way. Yeah, they don't have any problem with corporations dumping all kinds of lead and toxic heavy metals into your water supply, your air supply, your ground, your plant life, and all of this, okay? So stop and think of how much you actually know about what your government is spending money on that you're paying taxes to, and how easy it is for one little issue to become the big focal point, and all of the reality is forgotten about, okay? This goes on down through the list, but the easiest thing to say is the only corporation or company that benefits from its customers being dead is the funeral business. You got the embalming if you're going to embalm them, you got the funeral pyre if you're going to burn them, and you got the burial plot. You got those things to sell. Other than that, that person is not going to give you any money. Their family will give you money. But other than that, that dead customer is of value to you and nobody else, or no other industry. Okay. When you stop to think about Nestle killing literally millions of people to make money, and to this day everybody still yahoos about Nestle, but Nestle goes and buys Lake Michigan, 7 million gallons for $200? And how many dollars do you pay for a liter bottle of Nestle's bottled water? Which chances are very high is just nothing but tap water. They run a few filters through on it and dump it into a bottle and tell you that it's all purified and dechemicalized. And, you have no way of even beginning to trust Nestle. You literally don't care that Flint, Michigan, down there on that other part of Lake Michigan, has got absolutely nothing for their, tainted pipes. The government, it's too expensive to go take care of them. Excuse me, Nestle can pay $200 million for the water they're going to pump out of Lake Michigan, and Flint, Michigan can get an entire water system as well as probably quite a few of those other communities around there. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, people are so used to the censorship and being told don't think about anything, just do what I say, that you literally don't even care about any of the stuff that's actually really going on. Some 200 plus crop failures around. There has just been this massive hailstorm up in Colorado. That storm is moving across. You have no way of knowing what was damaged up in the crops of Colorado unless you really dig hard. You have no way of knowing what's been damaged across the Midwest, which has been going through flood and storms and tornadoes and hailstorms, which is all damaging to crop. Everywhere around, okay, and one of the people that I follow on YouTube, I listen to his stuff from time to time, and I definitely repost stuff that he puts up from time to time. He's going on just yesterday it was about how there's been this big censorship thing of InfoWars, and he says it's not that he supports InfoWars. It is the fact that you have to understand what you're looking at and why the censorship is going on. What's he saying? He's saying the same thing I am. These people are cutting down and narrowing the view of which you can see, putting blinders on you just like they do on a horse when they want to walk through traffic. They put blinders so it won't spook. They don't want you seeing all of this going on. They got the Donald Trump circus going on where Donald Trump, who like I pointed out from 2015 on, okay, this guy is an absolute con man. He's a liar, he's a cheat, he's a bully. He has no problem getting up there and being the absolute farce he is, and everybody's running after that, and they're worried about that. Instead of worrying about this, or realizing what I have to offer here. You're too busy being part of the in group. And, like I say, that's about as smart as the idea of everybody running around screaming about how, CO2 is this horrible, horrible gas and we have to contain it everywhere. And I don't think you can go to any country on this planet and not find sodas and beer being sold. Well, no, I take that back. Beer isn't sold in Muslim countries. It has CO2 in it because you drank a bunch of CO2. So, gee, if you want to limit CO2, why don't you just make, soda pop and beer illegal around the world.